I left, it was different, but not by the time I left, but by the time my brother left, because he was there working, and by the time he left, to drop someone off at the airport, you had to pay $5. You had to pay five euro to drop someone off at the airport.
Wow.
Yeah. Not to park, not to go in, just to drop someone off.
That's excessive. Oh, I forgot to turn my mic up.
£5.
Yeah, not even $5. £5.
No, yeah, exactly. We're like $7, whatever.
Yeah.
Now it's probably closer
Right.
to $6 or whatever, but still.
I do wish I haven't figured out. It says sign into chat, but when I've tried to do that a long time ago, it wouldn't work.
Huh.
But there should be a way that we should be able to actually sign into the YouTube chat and respond to these people as well.
Yeah.
Which I should try to figure that out at some point.
Yeah, because some of the YouTube live streamers I see, their chats, that's the whole thing, is they do the live stream and have the chat and they all respond to all that. But
Right.
We're
right.
mostly over here.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it does get a little hairy. At some point in time, when you've got like
just blasting down
too many people at once.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
like
that's why a lot of the bigger streamers and stuff, they'll have moderators.
Right, and I'm working on that too.
Yeah.
I'm working on that too. I've been seeking volunteers to help me with that.
Yeah.
So hello everyone, 大家好，
大家好，
你们都是中国人。Hello, Eric. Hello, Bies. Hello, Hiram. Hello, Wing and Cindy and Sunny and Thomas. Hello. I'm Teacher Mark, and this is Teacher Clay.
Well, welcome, Hiram. Good to see you.
Ooh, the Chinese is strong today.
Yeah.
So, if you guys have questions, 如果你们要问我们你们的英文的问题，你可以啊。And we already have somebody raising their hand.
Raising their hand.
Why not?
Yeah, what the heck?
Let's talk to Sunny. That's a good song.
Hello.
Yeah, I love that
Hello,
song.
teacher.
Hello, Sunny. How are you?
Sonny?
I'm fine, thanks. Just a little boring because I think office life always boring.
Well, then you can say you feel just a little bored because office life is boring. Yeah, so when you tell people what you feel, you say, I feel bored. And then when you talk about what things make you feel bored, you say they are boring. So things are boring, I feel bored.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your help.
No problem. No problem. So what can we do for you today? Do you have any questions for us about English or anything else?
No, because I just English beginner, so I just listen your room is okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we are both teachers, and we are here for helping you with your English if you have any questions. So you're welcome to ask us questions, but if you want to chat, we can chat a little bit too. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So tell me, what city do you live in, Sonny?
With city, I come from China and I live in city's name is Shijiazhuang.
Ooh, I don't know that
Me
one.
neither. Yeah.
Where is that one?
Okay. I will explain it. You know, the Chinese map just like chicken.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes, yes, and my city's location is on the chicken's neck.
So
Okay.
is that's west or is that north?
No, I think I know
Yes, yes.
what he means. Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
funny. I've never heard anybody explain it that way. The Chinese
'cause
map looks like a chicken.
I'm thinking of a chicken almost pecking, sort of.
Right,
bent
me
over,
too.
but
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Near Beijing.
Oh,
Near
okay,
Beijing.
near
Near
yes.
Beijing,
more
right?
north. Yeah,
Yeah,
more north.
right. Yeah. So there's the
Yes,
chicken.
now I
There's the
see it,
chicken.
right. I was
Yeah.
thinking
So
the
in the
other way.
neck,
Uh-huh.
I see.
Yeah, I
see.
like that.
Yeah, that helps me.
Yeah,
That helps
I'm
me.
gonna
Yeah.
use that again.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right,
Yes.
Sonny. And you say
All
so. You
right.
said you don't like office life. So what do you do? 你做什么工作?
Yes, my office is just sitting in front of my company computer and do some work about data.
Okay. Data analyzation or something.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah, and keep a same state all day.
Yeah, that is probably not very exciting.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you
I
like
want
to
to ask
what do you like to do
you-
for fun?
What? Why?
What do you like to do for fun? 你喜欢做什么爱好?
Okay, I think I most like things is sleeping.
Sleeping?
Because yes, because in my life I spend a lot of time in my company, so I don't have a lot of time to play a game or many other things.
You know, it's funny,
Either,
Sonny. If you come to America, if you ask American kids, what do you like to do for fun? They all say things like, you know, I like to play baseball
Yeah.
or sports
Video
or play
games,
outside or play
yeah.
video games or something like that. But when I was in Taiwan, I used to teach English in Taiwan. And sometimes I would ask the kids what they like to do for fun. And many of them, their answer would be sleep.
Yeah.
They would all say what they want to do for fun is sleep.
Dreams can be fun,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's
that's
it's
not
just
a
it's
general
indicative
idea of fun.
how much they work.
Yeah.
It's because they
Uh-huh.
work so much they need a break.
Right.
you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially
So-
the students, man.
So Sonny, I think you had a question. Did you have a question?
I don't have any special question. If I want to say, I want to ask, what game are you play?
What games do I play? You mean video games?
Yes, video game. It's on the PC. It's very bad. It's very good.
So I'm not a big video game player. I don't play video games very much. I haven't played one. I don't think I've played one in probably 6 months at
Yeah,
least.
I play video games. I play with my friends. You know, we'll play some games that are just, you know, kind of, you don't have to think. We just get on with each other and talk and play. No shooting games or anything. More like strategy games is what we like.
So yeah, so I used to play some video games when I was younger, but I don't play very many games anymore. Not on the computer or on any of the systems or anything.
No time.
Yeah, no time. Yeah, really, no time. It's really what it comes down to. It's
Yeah.
just time.
Okay. I see it. I think you can try it because my favorite game is Battlefield 1. I think it's a really good game.
Okay, Battlefield 1. So it's some kind of a war strategy game.
Yeah, I think I played that. I played one of the Battlefields years ago. This was probably in 2017, and it was the World War I battlefield.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that was fun. You could fly all the planes and the old tanks and stuff like that.
Yeah, Sonny,
yes,
I like games, but I like to try to find games that I feel have some value to me in some way, like educational value or something I can learn or understand better if I play that game. So, yeah, I'm weird that way.
Like
Yeah.
Civilization, we were talking
Right,
about
yeah,
that. There's
yeah.
at least something there.
We
you
both
know?
used to
Yeah.
play a game online called Sid Meier's Civilization, and it's a game about creating a new world with many, many different cultures and people, right? And you have to grow your culture. And so you start as a small village, and then you have to grow into big, big cities and a country and try to become powerful and control the world and all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a game that actually has a lot of actual, real educational content.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a lot of like monuments and special World
Right.
Heritage sites that I would have not known
words,
about.
special
you know?
language,
Yeah.
words, and they explain about the history and the culture
Yeah, and like certain military units that are
right,
specific
yeah.
to certain countries.
yeah. That's kind of what I mean by vocabulary
Yeah,
too. Is like
yeah.
there's certain vocabulary terms that you only learn
Right.
because of that.
Like
yeah.
a hussar or something
Right,
like
right,
that.
right,
where
yeah.
you may not have learned about.
So yeah, but recently in the last I don't know, I would say maybe 5 years, I have not played many video games
Yeah.
at all in the last 5 years because I've just been too busy.
Okay.
Yeah, but I like them if I had more time. I just don't have the time. That's all. I have too many things to do. Do you know what I like to do now, Sonny? Is I like to use AI to experiment with things. That's my new video game. So
Okay.
I like to play with AI and try to see what I can do with it or what I can learn from it or how I can use it.
Right.
And it's like a new game for me.
Yes, I know. I like AI too, but in China, if I want to play with AI, I must spend a lot of money. So I don't
understand.
have so much money to help me to play with AI.
I understand. But video games can be expensive too. Yeah, especially these days because
Yeah.
now you used to be able to buy the game and you were done.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's a subscription all the time.
or you buy it early and then
Yeah.
you get 10
And then
different
inside the
things,
game,
and
you
then
gotta pay for
inside the
this and
game,
this
you
and this
pay
and
for
this.
stuff. Yeah, the microtransactions,
Right,
as
yeah.
they call them.
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't like play game, I want to ask, what would you do? What would you like to do at your day off?
I like to go fishing or hiking.
Oh,
Yeah, I like to go
Hiking,
fishing or
yeah.
hiking. Yeah, so I live in a place where there's a lot of forests and woods right behind my house. If I can walk outside and go into the woods right now, and so I can go hiking anytime I want.
A lot of rivers too.
And there's a
yeah.
lot of rivers
Bodies of
nearby
water,
too.
yeah.
So if I want to go fishing, my fishing place is 5 minutes away from here.
Mm-hmm.
So I can be fishing in 15 minutes. I could go down and go be fishing. And I'd like to do that sometimes just for a couple of hours, just to be peaceful. It's quiet. It's peaceful. Sometimes I catch some fish and it's a lot of fun. And it makes me feel like I get to recharge my batteries. And where we live, the nature is pretty beautiful here.
Yeah.
The nature is pretty beautiful here. We have a lot of nature where we live. So it's good to take advantage
Yeah.
of it, you know? Yeah.
yes, I know. It's a really great thing.
Yeah. So I like that. I think you like
Yeah, I do.
same kind of thing.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
my cousin, he's got a spot in Kentucky that is within a national forest, and you know that I love going down there and just there's a creek. It's a river, but it's more of a it goes down to the point where it nearly dries up. But that's really a lot of fun
Yeah.
to just go down there and explore the creek because there's no roads that even go by the river. It's just all forest. It's really cool.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. So that's a good question. Thank you for that question, Sonny.
Yes. And I want to ask a question for my learning English. I just a English beginner. I have when I speak English, I will have a lot of mistake.
Okay.
That make me a little sad.
Okay. I don't think you have a lot of mistakes. I think you have a few mistakes.
And they're not even huge.
Yeah, they're not
ones.
big mistakes. Yeah. Most Chinese people, most people, when they're learning English, they make about 3 or 4, maybe 5 common mistakes all the time, right? So about 80% of the mistakes you make are just a few things. They're just a few small things. So for example, for Chinese people, many Chinese people have trouble with English tenses, right? Like past tense, present tense, future tense, right? 现在时,过去时,未来时, right? That's a very common problem for Chinese people, and you should focus on that problem because there is a major difference between Chinese language, Chinese tense, and English tense. It's very, very, very different. So you should focus on that one. Another common problem that many Chinese people have, and I heard you make it once or twice, is many Chinese people, when they say something, they say the singular version instead of the plural version. So, 中国人常常忘记说，后面需要用 s， 如果就是很多的东西，你需要用 s 后面的 right? So many Chinese people, they forget to use the S in the back of the word. So car and cars, book and books, right? So Chinese people sometimes will say, I have read many book, or I have many book. Something like that. They forget to say the S, right? So that's another common mistake that Chinese people make. I heard you make that one once or twice, so I would focus on that one. But, Sonny, why don't you tell him what I usually tell people about writing a diary and how that's helpful for finding? You remember my answer for that?
About the writing the diary and
how you can find your common...
and find your common mistakes.
Yeah,
right. And that's going to be your most important thing, is knowing where you need to study the most.
Right.
You know.
So what I usually tell people is if you can, write a diary.
Yeah.
Write a diary, right? Do you know what a diary is? A journal or a diary? A diary is a great way to find your common mistakes. Go ahead and tell them about that, Clay.
And then that way you can see your growth as well.
Right.
As you progress, you can see where you were making the mistakes, and then you can go back and see where you're still making mistakes, and the mistakes that you've continued to make, and it makes it easier to hone in on what it is that you're doing wrong.
Yeah, so sometimes many people, when they write, their writing grammar is better than their speaking grammar.
Yeah.
But that's when they write things like for work or for school or something like that. But a diary is a little different, because a diary is something you don't usually spend a lot of time thinking about. You just write. So you just have your thoughts, and now you just put them on paper as quickly as you can.
It's a more realistic picture.
It's a more realistic picture of the mistakes that you usually make.
Right.
So I usually tell people that a diary is usually, it's like your thoughts on paper. And if you can see your thoughts on paper, now you can look at them and find your mistakes. So a diary is a really good way to try to find the mistakes that you commonly make. And it's even easier now because you can use AI.
Yeah, and you can learn new vocabulary.
Right.
You know, you'll have to look up certain things.
That's right.
know.
So you can use AI when you do your diary, and you can tell AI, like use ChatGPT or something and say, please correct my grammar and tell me what I did wrong. And it will. Right? So if you use just maybe for 3 months, try to write a diary for 3 months every day, just a little bit. You don't have to write a lot, just a few paragraphs maybe. And then tell AI to correct you. And in that 3 months, if you write it every day, you will absolutely improve and find your mistakes.
I agree.
Okay?
Okay. I'm very thank you for your help.
You're welcome.
Teacher.
You're welcome.
Yes. And I I should go to my bed. Maybe
Okay.
you can choose another
How?
one.
Okay.
Get down.
All right. Well, thank you. It was nice to talk to you. Nice to talk to you, Sonny. Yeah. 我们很高兴认识你. So it was nice to meet you. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I will see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
Take care, Sonny. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
For a beginner, he was able
it's
to
not bad.
communicate quite clearly.
Yeah, he's
you know?
pretty
I mean,
good.
we were able
Yeah.
to get what he was saying. There was some.
People throw around that word beginner very casually.
That's a little beyond beginner.
Everybody
I think. Yeah.
underrates their
Yeah.
language on purpose because they're afraid to overrate it. So instead of saying my English is really good, they always say my English is not so good. Then you look good if your English is good.
Yeah, it's true. And he did.
That's the nature of language for anybody. It's the same thing with my Chinese. I
Right.
tell people my Chinese is
Right.
not good. Then if they hear my Chinese, they think, wow, his Chinese is pretty good. Mo says it works. I've been using ChatGPT to correct my grammar. Yeah, it's great. It's a really, I mean, it's a free grammar teacher that's
Right.
just 24 hours a day ready to help you, you know?
That is really
Yeah.
an awesome way to use that.
Yeah,
too.
that's right. Let's check to see. Do we miss any other comments here? Let's see. I only remember Atari games. Yeah, me too. We still have the box for our Atari
really?
2600.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
My uncle, I was helping him move, and he still had the whole, like the Commodore 64 thing. He had the entire.
We
Computer.
have
He
our
had the
whole one
thing.
somewhere. We have the whole video game still somewhere. I think
Yeah.
my guitar player has it actually. Yeah. Can I recommend some books for beginners or intermediate level? Ted wants to know. Ted, do you want some books for reading or books for learning English? What kind of books are you talking about? That's a very general question. When you say some books for beginners or intermediate level, are you trying to read for fun, for fiction? Are you trying to improve your grammar? Do you want books that are mysteries or adventure or romance or historical or nonfiction, science, whatever? So maybe be a little bit more specific, Ted, in your question. Let's see. You played a game with your wife, It Takes Two. The name of the game was called It Takes Two. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
a
know.
popular game where it's all co-op basically, and you have to, and it's like a platformer. It's sort of like a Mario sort of game, but it takes two people to do every.
Oh, that's
to get
interesting. So
through
it's a
every
cooperative,
big
collaborative
time.
thing. Well, that's
Big
cool.
time,
That's
yeah.
interesting. That's interesting. You know, the game I remember that I love that I miss is I think it was called Lemmings.
Oh, Lemmings.
The one we had to, like,
that's from
solve,
years
like,
ago.
problems or puzzles or something like that? Yeah.
And then wasn't there like some shooting of the
Yeah,
Lemmings
yeah,
at
like
some
this.
point?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun game because it was
Yeah.
like a mind teaser. You know, every time you had to like solve some sort of
Right.
puzzle. You know.
Yeah, I like strategy stuff.
Yeah,
like
me
that.
too. It's difficult to insist on writing a diary. It's not difficult to insist on it. It's difficult to actually do it.
Yeah, to insist on yourself.
Yeah.
Writing a diary.
Yeah. May, what I would tell you, May, is the reason you think it's difficult is because you imagine that you have to write a lot. You imagine you have to write a lot. But May, I think even if you just write a few sentences each day, then that's good. But I also think that it's good to have some kind of a template for your diary. So, for example, the first sentence you should say something about what date it is. You know, today is blah, 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 in the year, blah, 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 whatever, something like that. Or today is Thursday, November 20th, or something like that, right? And then you say what you did that day or how you feel that day. So you can make a little checklist of what's the date, what did I do, how do I feel, you know, what do I plan? You know, maybe those 4 things. If you just write down the date, what did you do, how you feel, and what you plan to do, then that's a good template to just start with to get something out, right? Mm-hmm.
Because then, you know, you start with that baseline, but then if
Right.
you have something else
That
on your
you can,
mind
right,
or whatever,
you know, what
can always
happened to me,
expand on it. Yeah.
or I want to talk about a memory I had,
Yeah.
or whatever. You can add to that. You can add to that.
Or on some days, nothing happened.
That's
You know,
right.
you just
That's
write
exactly
and
right.
You just write that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. All right. Let's see. Is To Kill a Mockingbird suitable for beginners? No. No, I think that's about, I would say, at least
Freshman,
middle school, high
yeah.
school. I would say, yeah, maybe 7th, 8th, 9th grade at least. Yeah. So I think by high school you should be able to read something like To Kill a Mockingbird, but there is a good deal of language, chifforobe, you know.
Yeah,
like, come on, you know.
and they say chifforobe 10,000
Yeah, right.
times.
Yeah, like
too,
like I didn't know what a chifforobe was.
Yeah,
They had to tell us what a chifforobe was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
And there, some of the southern kind of dialect and
Yeah,
thing
that's right.
comes through in the writing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's kind of
And
like,
as far as the actual like words, maybe not, but some of the understanding, some of it may take some context as well.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between a caravan, a camper van, and a vehicle? A vehicle is a general word for any kind of transportation at all.
Yeah.
You know, a bicycle is a vehicle. A car is a vehicle. Technically, a plane is a vehicle.
Right.
You know.
You can even use vehicle in outside of that context in some cases.
That's right.
you
In
know.
theoretic, like, there's
Yes.
a figurative term of vehicle,
Right.
right?
Like the vehicle to my success was my hard working.
Yeah, and the word vehicle comes from the Latin word vehiculum, which means a means of transport.
Right.
Right. So it comes from the word. That's interesting. The VE in vehicle comes from the word way.
Oh.
The way.
Oh,
Which was like the
interesting.
road, right?
Yeah.
The to go, to move. So vehicle means to go
On the way.
and
Yeah.
what's the other? Oh, wagon. Oh, that's also where we get the word wagon.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. From way and wagon.
Yeah, it says, let's see, vehere means to bear or carry or convey, and the VE part of it means to transport in a vehicle or to go, right? So that's the same way that we use for the way,
Right.
as in that's the way to go to the store.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always have to check the etymology, you know.
Yeah.
me.
No, it's interesting.
And so a camper van, that is a van for camping.
Yeah, it's pretty
Technically,
specific, but a lot of them will have, sort of a tent structure
yeah,
that may
something
come out
that
the top
extends
or out the back.
yes, expands or
Yes,
extends
yeah.
more, right? That's a camper van. But the word camper specifically means it is meant for camping.
Right.
That's the purpose of a camper van. And a caravan is not a word we use by itself that much anymore.
No.
Honestly, we've actually cut that word down to van. So a van is a vehicle that's a slightly larger vehicle, not like a truck exactly, but it's
Van usually has, not always, but it usually has like seats, whereas a truck would not.
That's exactly
have
right.
Seats for people.
So
not always.
a
but-
van is a vehicle that is either designed to transport larger numbers of people or larger, more amounts of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Similar to a truck, but the truck has what we call a truck bed.
Yes.
And a van does not have a bed, as we call it. It just has containing space. Yeah.
And the word caravan has another meaning as well.
That's right.
as
A caravan-
a group of
that's right.
people moving to a certain destination.
A group of people or cars or vehicles.
any
That's
type
right.
of vehicle.
Yeah. That's right. What did you do? How do you feel? What's your plan for the diary? And then the date, just so you have some reference of when you're doing things. Yeah. Do natives make mistakes in grammar? Yes.
Oh, yes.
Of course. Yeah. How to teach a 4-year-old English. Monica, when you're 4, the most important thing you can do at that young age is just try to create an English environment for them.
Speak to them in English.
That's
I think
right.
Would be the only,
as much as you can,
yeah.
use English with them. So, for example, maybe if your son or daughter is hungry, you can say ni han oma, ni o oma, and then you can follow it up with are you hungry, right? Connect those two things constantly. If you speak English, then use English, and you can use Chinese also. I think at the age of 2, 3, 4, 5, at that age, try connecting the languages. Don't just use English because they're going to be confused.
And they're absorbing so much that it's not like a normal, go to school and learn sort of thing. They're already in this just absorbing, sponge-like situation where they're going to repeat things and they're going to start to understand things if they hear it enough.
Right. So anytime that you're speaking to them, if you can, try to use both Chinese and English so they can start trying to connect those things, right? Oh, pinguo, apple, right? Niu mian, beef noodle soup, whatever, anything. Just start trying to use those two together.
And I had a friend, it was my brother's boss in Georgia, and he was Polish, and he was married to a lady from Puerto Rico, and their children spoke both Spanish and English. Clearly, the one, she was maybe 10 years old, but the other was much smaller, and she was like 3 or 4, and she spoke pretty good Spanish, but her mother would, just give her little flashcards and then do both the English,
right?
Just like you were saying.
Yeah.
And the little girl at 3 years old could understand a lot in both languages.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you just have to create an environment. So you could write little notes. You can write little notes and stick them all over your house with both Chinese and English on them.
Like labels.
Right, labels. That's what I did when I lived in Taiwan. My whole apartment was labeled. Everything was the cabinets, and the doors, and the windows, the mirror, everything was labeled.
Yeah.
So that every day I wake up and I see those words.
And that gets you in the thinking mindset, too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So create an English environment. Before the age of 5, I definitely think that below that age, in 95% of cases, you should just create a passive learning environment, not an active learning environment. After the age of 5, then you can start looking at developing an active learning environment. And yes, old boy, Victor is right. Native speakers in every language make mistakes in grammar, of course. You like the freedom that a camper van gives? Yeah, and they're popular here for that exact reason,
I was gonna
Alex.
say that's
actually even more so now. Even I've considered doing that.
They're like sort of an icon of, that.
At this point in America, houses have become so expensive that I think that camper vans and conversion
are economical.
Stuff, people are really, really reconsidering those now. Okay, let's see. We'll get somebody else up on the stage here in just 1 second. Let me just catch up with the... Oh, there we are. We're caught up. Good. Hello, Tanya. Good to see you. They were in Canada. Yeah, also popular in Canada.
Oh, I think he was talking about us. He said they had a son learn English.
Oh, there we go. Cartoons. Okay, yeah. By watching cartoons, right. And that is a passive learning environment, right? Where they're just... Peppa Pig. Great. Peppa Pig is awesome. Put Peppa Pig on, let your kid watch Peppa Pig, SpongeBob SquarePants. I have no problem with that.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, put it on.
that was when I was a kid.
Let them try to figure it out, It'll be funny no matter what they, You can watch cartoons in any language and it's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. All right, let's see. Who else would like to come on stage? Belen. Hello, Belen. Now your daughter responds to you, I don't care, who cares, in English that sounds less rude to her than in Spanish, so English has a double edge. That's funny. That's funny. Your daughter's a little fiery one, Belen. She's fiery. All right, let's talk to another person here. I think Eric has been waiting for a while, if I remember right. Let's talk to Eric for a moment. I need to call my sister. It's her birthday.
Oh,
Hi, Teacher Mark.
hello.
Hello,
Eric.
Eric. How are
sorry.
you?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, another gentleman, I didn't remember his name.
This is Clay.
Clay.
You can my Clay, right?
Clay. C-L-A-Y. Clay.
Oh, Clay. Okay, Teacher Clay. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so glad to be on the stage. So actually, it's in my second account. I use out of my time for another account.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
see.
VIP anymore.
Yeah, that's the trick now.
Yeah, yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. So what can we do for you, Eric? How can we help you?
Yeah, I just want to be on stage and talk with you guys for a while. Actually, I have been noticed your live stream for like a month. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear you speak Chinese very well.
It's okay.
It's the first time, I heard you speak Chinese in a very good accent.
Thank you. I try. I try. Yeah. It's hard, though. It's hard to get the accents right, you know?
And you have a very professional work studio like this.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. I try to have a nice professional and fully equipped studio
Yeah.
to work in. Yeah.
Yeah, so you see, it's getting popular.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're almost at 75,000 followers now. Almost.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I'm at like
Oh my
70,
God.
74,579.
We've got a lot in today's live stream. Really, it's already up to 130.
Oh, how about that? I didn't
Yeah.
even recognize.
Me neither
Yeah.
until I looked.
Yeah.
So I do have some questions for you because you said these days you pay a lot. You pay a lot of attention on the AI, right? Like ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was wondering, what do you think of the application of the AR and MR or VR?
AR, MR, and VR. VR is virtual reality.
Yeah.
What is AR and MR?
I think augmented reality is AR.
Oh, okay.
Which is like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
glasses.
the glasses,
that,
right,
that
right.
are. Yeah,
Okay, and what is MR?
MR means the mix.
Oh,
Mix
oh,
with
okay,
the
okay,
AR
okay.
and
All right. So
AR.
for me, I'm not a big fan of either virtual reality or augmented reality. Not yet. For right now, I think the perfect combination of AI is your imagination and AI. I think that's the perfect combination. VR right now still seems really, really clunky.
Well, I
and-
think some of it does, but overall, I just like standard reality.
Right,
I
yeah,
prefer.
right.
I don't.
Me too. Yeah.
I like to escape in certain ways. We all do, to
Yeah.
decompress. We all have our escapism, but I don't feel like I want to go that far out.
Right, yeah.
I would rather travel or something like that. And
Mark
see something
Zuckerberg is
in
big on.
reality.
Mark Zuckerberg likes his whole metaverse, right? The metaverse and
he's
stuff.
trying really hard
And
to make that a thing.
I think that's just stupid. I
It's-
have no interest in the
whole
metaverse.
There was, and a couple years ago, it was even, there was the trending topics about land for sale
Right,
within the
yeah.
metaverse, and that's all died down because
Right.
people started to realize how dumb
Yeah,
that
right,
it is,
yeah, yeah.
and how you're not actually getting anything.
So I think there's tremendous value in AI,
Yeah.
virtual reality, and augmented reality and
I
mixed
think
reality.
augmented reality has some really cool applications when it comes to city planning and when it comes to like architecture and things like this, because you can plan out within, looking at the actual
Right,
picture
yeah.
and see what these things will look like, which is the same sort of thing they've done, but now it does have a more active sort of.
I think that when they reach the point where they start trying to find ways to make the HUD display type thing,
we're getting
but-
into the Matrix.
Right,
Yeah,
right. Like I'm waiting for that time when you can, like in the movies where you hit the button and then all of a sudden a screen like virtually pops up in
Right.
front of your face and you can move stuff like here. I don't want to put on some glasses,
No, I
man.
don't either,
Like
yeah.
I want to just see it in front of my face and whatever. And I guess that's Elon with his,
Yeah,
brain
well,
chips or
that's
whatever.
all,
But
yeah.
but I agree with Clay.
Yeah.
I love AI. I love technology. So far, the virtual stuff
Yeah.
is not
I
really
like to
that interesting to me.
mainline my reality.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't see the value in it yet. I don't see the
That's my
purpose.
thing, yeah, because it's almost most of the time it's near like playing a video game
Right.
on VR. Most
That's
VR
right.
is set up in
Like a video game.
in video
Right,
games.
yeah.
And maybe I'm just old school, but if I'm gonna play a video game, I'll just do
play a
that
video
and
game.
realize
Right.
that I'm in my living room still.
That's right. Yeah. So I think it hasn't reached its practicality yet.
Yeah, but like I said, there are practical applications in
Yeah.
this. And planning roads and things like
Sure,
that. There's
yeah.
there are practical applications to VR and AR, but as far as on the entertainment scale, I can see it being
I mean,
entertaining, but not for me.
I mean, on the personal usefulness scale.
For me, there's really no.
That's what I'm trying to
use
say.
For it.
So
yeah.
city planners, okay,
Yeah,
fine. On
right.
some grand scale with a
yeah.
lot of money,
Right,
then that's
exactly.
one thing. But
Exactly.
for a home person, a person at home using VR, I don't. Why?
Yeah.
What's the point? Like, I don't understand what do you gain?
Yeah.
If I'm going to play a game, let me just play a game.
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
So if you're going to spend whatever it is, $500+ on some
Yeah.
type of VR mechanism, when you could just save that money and go to a place, that's what I would prefer.
That's what I agree
Not
with,
that
yeah.
there's anything wrong if you like VR or enjoy that, that's great too.
Sure. For me, it has to have some kind of a purpose.
Yeah.
And I don't see the purpose yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. Actually, I have the similar idea with you two. I'm one of the users of Chinese VR machine. I do have one. I mean, I can show you.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is
Look at you.
Cool.
the most. Yeah, this is the most popular AR machine. It's called Pico.
Okay.
Similar as the product with Meta, the
Yeah.
Facebook.
Uh-huh.
But they call it Quest 2 and Quest 3.
Right,
It's,
yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of
most
that.
advanced one. Yeah. So actually, I have been used it for almost 2 years. Maybe it's kind of popular among the young people, but actually, I don't know anyone of my friends or co-workers have
Right.
used this kind of
Right.
machine.
Yeah.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one. So you see,
And you say,
it's
yeah.
not so popular these days because it's heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Heavy.
I think for us, if you're older, I think the older you get, the more you look at it and you just think, nah,
Yeah,
no,
right.
like that just doesn't look that great
Right,
to me.
well, That's it's like doing an exercise. It's
Yeah.
a neck exercise.
Yeah.
my nephew has an Oculus or whatever,
Yeah,
and he brought his Oculus here one time, and we had it on the the TV,
Yeah.
the video game, and everything. And sure enough, my mom put it
Oh,
on, my
yeah.
dad put it on, and we're doing that game where you have to
Slice the
slice the
cubes.
things and
Yeah,
whatever,
uh-huh.
right? And I was interested for about 1 minute, and then after that, I just thought this is kind of stupid.
Yeah, I rode my little cousins had one, and I was riding the roller coaster or whatever in the chair, and it kind of made me nauseous.
It just-
when regular roller coasters don't. I like roller coasters in general. But
I mean, I
the one on
honestly
the
felt like
VR
it was like the most advanced version of Pong I can imagine. Like it was
It is
like,
kinda like that,
it just
yeah.
felt like do you know the game Pong? The very, very first video game, ever was called Pong. And Pong was a game. It was like table tennis. It was like ping pong, right? And so you all you had was just two
and a ball
things that you had to move, and the ball would beep, boom, beep,
You go,
boom, beep.
Oh,
Yeah. That was called Pong. And I kind of feel like when I was playing that game with my nephew, I was like, this is like a big and complicated version of Pong. You know, I was like, what's the point? I was bored in a minute, you know? And then, to be honest with you, yeah, it's disconcerting in not a good way.
Yeah, well,
You know, like-
I do think that there, as it progresses, just like with AI, there will come more applications for
Yeah.
it in reality. But as far as in my personal life, I don't see it
Me neither.
having an effect.
All I see now is a bunch of videos online of people playing the VR
Skyrim.
games
Yeah.
and running into the wall, you know, or whatever,
Or
right?
breaking their TV,
Yeah,
yeah.
they break their TV or they run into the wall or they fall down or something because they're so scared,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
That's true. That
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I think that technology is still a pretty good long way away from something
Yeah.
very, very useful.
Right.
Right now, I think it's kind of
I
just
mean,
a toy.
Well, and there's you know, like the like you're talking about in the future. I'm not sure they can really use it for now, but you could think surgeons or something could do a VR,
Yeah, absolutely.
could do a VR surgery and something like this,
Oh, yeah,
and it could
yeah.
and learn, you know, where these things are.
but see,
and-
to me, that's completely different.
it is. It's not, like I said, I'm not going to use it. I'm not a doctor or surgeon,
Yeah.
so I won't be using
Right.
it. But
You know, the doctors would have a version of that that's like 40, 50, 60, $100,000
Yeah,
or something, right? So for practical purposes, like for medicine and for things
Design.
like design and
infrastructure,
diagnostics
yeah.
and things like that, then I think it's got a lot of potential. But for personal use at home, I don't see the practical value for it at all right now.
Right.
Maybe in the future they might find some way to make it practically valuable.
It can make my house look clean.
Yeah,
And that way
like-
I don't have to clean. I can just live in a VR clean house.
Yeah, like I can imagine. Do you remember what was that movie? What was it called? There was a movie with Demi Moore and Michael Douglas, and they. I think it was called. Was it Disclosure? Let me see. Because it was kind of about this. They had a virtual technology that allowed you to do that whole thing like a screen.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not familiar with that one.
Let me find the movie.
What do you
Disclosure.
use it for? Oh,
Yeah, it was called Disclosure. Michael Douglas, Demi Moore, and that's what it was about. Is they had a way for you to personally use it, almost like an office manager would, right?
Right.
Now, if they had that at home, like for example, Eric. On my phone, I have a huge library of digital books, and I have Dropbox. I use Dropbox, and in my Dropbox, I carry a lot of information, PDF files and books and things like that. If they had a virtual way for me to like scroll through everything like a library,
And
you
then
know,
you
like
would open it up
right,
and
where I
start
could
reading
walk
it, yeah.
through a library and pick out a book and open it up and look through. That would be practically valuable and cool.
I
and
would think that there probably is something like that
Maybe,
coming down the pipe
I hope
anyway.
so.
I
hope
think.
so. But that's my point. Is
Yeah.
I want something that makes
Something-
it feel like a practical
Yeah.
usage for a home user.
Right.
Yeah. Like Iron Man. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Something like Iron Man has. That's
I want the
exactly right.
hands that he's got.
Yeah.
I want the gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the VR or MR has a very long way to go.
Yeah,
because
for practicality.
They need to
Yeah.
decrease the weight, or they need to improve the quality of the
Yeah.
version, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Make it easy to wear it.
That's
for,
right.
like,
Yeah.
more than
Yeah,
2
it
hours.
does. That's exactly right.
The
Yeah.
technology itself is cool. You know, the idea behind
Yeah.
it is pretty cool to be able to generate that at all. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
is an interesting fold in technology.
But I think that this technology depends on two other technologies.
yeah.
I think AI needs to develop a lot more, and I also think
Yeah.
quantum computing is much more important. Quantum computing.
Oh yeah, quantum computing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most advanced.
That's the most advanced
ever.
kind of computers. Yeah, once they combine quantum computers and AI together, whoa,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a big.
That's going to
big
be a
thing.
dangerous
Yeah.
sort of. We're not going to know whether something's
Right,
real or
yeah.
not
I
at that
cannot
point.
imagine what world.
Right,
Like,
that's
yeah,
exactly
future,
right. Yeah,
right.
but if they manage to find a way to combine quantum computing and AI safely, imagine what it could do for developing our technology, and it will be able to solve problems that we can't even think of.
My computer has a new processor.
That's right. Yeah. So, once those things happen, then I think that's what I would do is if I could get AI and quantum computing to work together, then I would tell the quantum computing AI, make virtual reality practical.
Yeah.
How can you make it
Don't make a
practical?
Terminator.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Don't make a Terminator. Right. Yeah. So, if they could do that, then I think VR has a lot more potential. But right now, I kind of think VR is almost.
It's gimmicky in the home.
Yeah,
In
right.
the home.
Yeah, it seems.
It's almost like a toy,
that's right. The word we use in English is gimmicky. A gimmick is it's just
A trick.
A trick. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
trick to get you to buy something, right? So
Yeah.
when we say it's gimmicky, it's like, okay, it's a fun toy, like you said, but like for what? You know, right?
And if that, if it's how you relax and enjoy, then
Yeah,
that
that's
is
one-
that
yeah.
is a practical application, and that
Sure,
that
yeah.
it helps you wind down or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
not for me.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Once they reach that point where I can start doing this, or walking through a virtual library to read and learn and
Yeah.
things, that'd be different.
I mean, I like if it was something huge, where you feel, you look like you're at the ocean, you feel, ocean spray on your body or on
Yeah.
your face or something like that.
or even a
it's
virtual
interesting.
classroom where. Right now,
Yeah.
I teach classes online with students, and it would be cool almost if you could put on the VR and now you're
Yeah.
you're in a class, and next to you is the student who so. That would be fun. That would be cool to have a virtual classroom with a virtual teacher.
Yeah,
even.
I think all of that and like hologram technology
Right.
will eventually all intersect, and it'll come into something.
Yeah, that is another thing
Yeah.
that needs to be combined. Is the hologram
Yeah.
technology also needs to advance? Yeah.
Yeah, and there's another thing we need to take concern is that because even right now, I mean, this kind of technology is not so advanced, but actually there are so many people have already get addicted into this kind of machine. Yeah, because there are some social media application like VR chat. So it's kind of like HoloTalk in the VR.
Yeah.
So people have a different avatar. We cannot see each other for the real appearance, right? But we have avatar, which can be the animals, can be different
Yeah.
shapes,
Yeah.
Right.
can
Yeah.
be something like that.
And I think if that makes
Yeah.
people feel comfortable and able to communicate, I don't see anything wrong with it. I do think that maybe you detach yourself a little bit from the real world, but some people, they don't have that in them to be able to go out and,
there are
and do that
always
kind of stuff.
there's always going to be people at the edges of the fringes
Yeah.
who are using things too much.
Right, right.
Like video games, the same thing.
Yeah.
That's why they changed the law in China just a few years ago. What is it, 2021, when they changed the law about video games. Kids were playing video games
kids,
too
yeah.
much, and so now they made it illegal for kids to play video games so much, right? Same thing.
screen time.
Some kids, they know how to control themselves, and some don't, people, not just kids, people.
It's just, it's personalities, yeah.
So, but you're right. It social media is just like any other new tool that comes. It can be addictive. You get so interested in it, you start using it a little too much, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the two sides of the coin.
That's
Right,
exactly right.
exactly.
New technology always has what we call a double-edged sword. A double-edged sword. It's a sword with two sides. One sharp that's good and one sharp that's bad.
That you got to hold on to.
That's
you have to
right,
hold on to
yeah.
the edge to be able to use it.
Actually,
Right. A double-edged sword is an idiom that means it has good and bad value. Yeah.
I just hope this kind of technologies would not isolate us human beings, because if you have all kind of machines put on
Mm-hmm.
your head, you wear on it, and
Yeah,
you
right.
don't want to spend time to go out to see somebody.
That's
in
right.
real
Yeah.
life,
And you're right. I think that has become true. I think that the development of technology in the last 20 years has created a certain segment of society that has kind of
Detached.
retreated
Yeah,
into their own little virtual world of video games, online video games, where they never have to meet a person,
Right.
but they're online all the time. My students say this to me sometimes when I tell them that they play video games too much. They say, "But I'm playing with my friends." They try to say it's a social thing, but the truth of the matter is it doesn't matter if it's a social thing or not. If it's stealing your time, it's stealing your time. And once something becomes a distraction, there are two kinds of distractions. Distractions that are good for relaxation and distractions that become escapism.
Yeah.
You know, when you're trying to escape the world, right? And as soon as it becomes that, that's when you have to be careful. You know, every new technology could have a positive value of like,
It's
oh,
like
this
it's
is
like
fun.
anything in moderation. You know,
That's
you
right.
can't you overwork yourself. You're gonna not be mentally great. If you
Right.
if you don't work at all, you're not gonna be. as
Yeah, but I
mentally-
think it's interesting because I think technology now has advanced so fast in the last
Yeah.
20 or 30 years that I think that we haven't caught up
No,
with
to the standards of
growth,
what-
the growth of
Yeah.
these people,
I
this
agree.
segment
No,
of
I
society
definitely
who's
agree with that. Yeah.
isolated.
Yeah, I can't imagine wearing one of those out and like. So imagine it's hot in the summer.
Yeah,
and then
right. Yeah.
The battery explodes on your face
Right.
or whatever
But
it is.
I mean, it's sad because sometimes you could have a kid playing a video game with another kid playing a video game in his city, and maybe they'll never meet, which is sad. It's like, you know, like you should go meet.
Yeah.
Like, why not go have some lunch together or, you know, even go to an internet cafe and play together there,
Right.
you know, like where you're actually together. You are human beings in the same room, and now you can play virtually, but you're actually with somebody. That changes the social aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to play basketball in my neighborhood a lot, you know, and all the kids in the neighborhood, we'd all come play basketball at the school when school let out, and we didn't always make friends, but
Right.
it was an experience, you
Right,
know,
yeah.
and it was fun, and that was why we did it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Teacher Mark and Clay. Yeah, you have a very good value about those technology stuff. Yeah, and I appreciate your efforts here on How to Talk.
Thank you. Thank you. And Eric, your English is quite good. You're
Yes.
doing well. You're doing really well.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. And what city are you in, Eric? I think I forgot to ask you.
Chengdu.
Chengdu.
I
okay.
really want to go to Chengdu for the food.
For the food.
Yes,
Yeah.
for
yeah.
the food and the,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
history. There's a lot of cool stuff there.
Well, I should Sichuan to Ooh.
That's one of the cities I really want to visit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
a
too.
Panda. The giant
The
panda.
panda, that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah. mhm, yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, Eric, thank you for your interesting questions. It was really interesting talking about technology. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, thank you to put me on stage.
you're welcome, and make sure you come back and see us again sometime. Okay.
Okay, okay.
All right. Take care, Eric.
Bye, Eric.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Hello, Miguel. Hello, Bunsum.
Hey, Miguel.
We're okay. How are you doing, Miguel? And yes, Lena, next week I'll be in Europe. Next week I'll be in Berlin.
Wow.
And then the week after that I'll be in Madrid. I know.
Going on tour.
It's shocking to me, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
kind of it's
Have you been to Europe before?
No.
Oh, wow. Yeah. This will be
yeah,
really cool.
yeah, it's very, very, very
yeah.
yeah.
When I went to England, it's sort of like Europe light. Because, you know, for Americans,
Right,
Americans
yeah.
anyway.
No
Because
challenge,
there's-
right? Yeah, right.
uh-huh.
Yeah. You want to come to the United States to be the president of the American dream. What's the appropriate way to apply for the president of the American dream? Well,
I don't know.
come here, stuck here, and
The American dream is not quite.
yeah,
You
not
know,
exactly
it's
what you
not-
think. I didn't want to get down that road.
Yeah.
but stuck
It
here.
may not be. You may want to look into other goals.
I think you're looking to come to America to try to find a better life. So you need to go online and you can search for the State Department, the U.S. State Department, and they have all the things you need to know about how to come to America, how to immigrate. Okay, so the Immigration Department. Okay. You love Berlin. It's impressive. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, I bet it is. I'd love to go to Berlin.
Chaman, we're from Cincinnati, Ohio. Maverick has a question. What's your question, Maverick? Right. Once when they have some sort of a brain chip, then maybe I'll be on board.
I
but-
don't want that. They're not putting anything in my brain. It's already got enough in there.
Yeah, I'm not afraid. My brain doesn't work as well as I want it to anyway.
The whole
I welcome my computer overlords.
cyber anatomy.
Yeah, anyway. Don't get lost in Heathrow. Oh,
yeah,
no.
it's
I think I have
a big place.
4-hour. I think I have a 4-hour layover. So I think
you
that's
pay
enough.
$5 to leave.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know if that's the charge.
Yeah.
But to go in, it is.
Visit the zoo. Okay, that's a good piece of advice. I like a good zoo.
Yeah, we've got a good zoo here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Let's talk to Anwar was waiting, I think, next. Jai, I see you. Let me see if I can talk to Anwar first. I might need some more coffee. Oh, and it's almost time for you to
I was
go.
gonna say, and I'm about to have to.
Yeah.
pull.
Hello, Anwar. How are you?
Hello, sir. How are you? Good. I'm good.
Good. And you're in Indonesia. Are you in Jakarta or where are you?
I'm nearby Jakarta, so I'm 1 hour away from Jakarta. 1 hour away from Jakarta by train. Yeah.
Okay, great. And what can we do for you today? How can we help you?
Yeah. I think I talked to you like 2 days ago.
Oh, I do remember you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then like when you opened your live stream, I was doing my homework. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's about articles. So sir, I'm taking my master degree right now in English education. But when it comes to like doing this homework, like my brain start to question my my
Yeah, I
ability
know.
to answer the question.
Yeah, I know. I know. You know, man, when you learn anything, if you learn anything and you want to be really good at it, at some point it becomes not fun. It's not fun anymore. But that's part of the
That's where the work comes
that's
in.
part of the process, right? To become a master, you cannot become a master of something without going through difficulty. You cannot become a master without difficulty. And so every time you have those moments where you feel like it's painful to learn, remind yourself that those are those are the master making moments. Those are the master making moments. When it's hard, that's when you're actually becoming good. So if it's easy, you're not challenging yourself and you're not becoming a master. So just remind yourself of that, that it has to be difficult, man. Learning is like climbing a mountain. If it doesn't feel hard, then you're not really climbing.
Yeah.
That's
You know?
how I am I have a statistics class right now that I'm in.
Hate statistics.
And and it's a lot of, you really have to
Yeah, statistics is so boring.
I know, and you really have to get down and find all the equations and the formulas in order to find your numbers to plug in everything, and it is.
Yeah.
But you do get something, you do have some learning when it comes down to it. I know more than I did when I first started.
Anwar, I mean, the same thing is true with drumming. I'm a drummer and I love music, right? But there are some, if I play a rock song, that's fun. Okay, I'm playing a rock song, that's fun. But then there's some kinds of music or practice that I have to do that is really, really hard and really difficult and requires a lot of focus and concentration and effort, and failure is part of the game. So struggling, I try to remind myself that struggling is good.
Yeah, it's a progress in itself.
Struggling shows that you're making progress, because if you're not struggling, then you're not making progress.
Right. I do have to go, though.
Okay, yeah.
All right, bye, guys.
Give me 1 second, Anwar. I'll be right back, okay? 1 second.
Thanks for having me, everybody. See you Friday.
Bye, Clay. Bye.
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 One last sip of coffee.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks, Mark.
There's no dog now, so you're okay.
Okay. My butt is not going to get eaten.
Yeah. All right, man.
See ya.
Oh, let's make sure we talk about this weekend, too.
Yeah, for the Renaissance
Yeah.
Fair? I'm down.
All right. We should have talked about that today on the stream, but that's
yeah,
all right.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, we'll make sure we talk about that Friday.
Yes.
All right.
So, where is he heading to? Going home?
He has to go work.
All right.
Yeah, so he has a job that starts at around 11 o'clock, and it's 10:30 here now, so he has to go to his job. He works at a pharmacy, so just to make some extra money, he works at a pharmacy. So he's actually he's studying English now in school to be an English teacher. And so he goes to school and he has a job, in a pharmacy.
I'm sorry, sir. I think your voice is kind of muffled right now.
Oh no! Why? What happened? Can you hear me now?
Still, but it's like the very previous one is better, but now it's kind of muffled.
Check 1, 1, 2. What about you guys in the audience? Can you hear me okay in the audience? Everybody else can hear me? Oh, so it might be you, Anwar. Yeah,
right,
it might be your signal or your end, because I think it's okay here. Yeah.
Right. So also, sir, so I got this one very old teacher. She's a lecturer and she's 91 years old, and she teaches the old way, and also about these, some of these, can I say that she's stubborn because so we were in the class. I think she taught us in academic speaking last semester, and she kind of like the one that really like British English.
Okay.
So when one of her students start talking using some American pronunciation, she's gonna blame us for mispronouncing the word.
Aluminium.
Aluminum.
Yeah, we say aluminum, they say aluminium. We say garage, they say garage. We say the trunk, they say the boot. Yeah, right. I know. Yeah, we say apartment, they say flat, whatever.
Yeah, and the problem is she teaches again in the semester. So what can we do? Because
there's nothing
last
you can
semester,
do.
Everyone in the class, even for me, I think I got the highest score, but it's only about 76. Like the other one, other friends of me, in the class, all of us get only 70, 70, 71.
You know what's funny is that teachers should recognize that when your class takes a test, the scores that your class get are not only a representation of how your students do, the scores your students get is a representation of how you do as a teacher. If the highest score in the class is a 76, then you suck as a teacher. That means that all these people, the best student could only get a 76, then you are not teaching well. You are not teaching well. If you can't get one person in your class to get an A, no, that's ridiculous. You suck. Yeah. So what I would say, Anwar, in those cases, she's 91, man. There's no changing a 91-year-old. You can't change.
So yeah, like for this semester, she teaches us for advanced grammar. So basically, like from now on, we're the class starting to panic because again,
to be honest with you,
everyone will get the bad score for the second time.
Yeah, that class itself is a pointless, stupid class to take. Advanced grammar, you may as well call it needless grammar or pointless grammar, because advanced grammar, especially English grammar, there's so much advanced English grammar that is absolutely unnecessary. It's like humans used to have tails, but we don't anymore. Why? Because we don't use them, right? So there's a lot of English grammar that should have been like a tail we cut off and said we don't need that anymore, but we don't. We never do that. So what I would say, man, is you're in a hard situation. There is no way to change her. She's not going to change her mind. So what I would say is you have to get through that class. Just get through it, and everything that she says, you have to take with a big grain of salt. Do you know what that means?
Meaning what?
A big grain of salt. It's an idiom that means that when you take, if you say, take that with a big grain of salt, that means don't take it too seriously, because whatever she's doing is not, she might say it's really, really important, but you need to take that with a big grain of salt, because no, it's not. Her whole class is not very important. Advanced grammar, and especially if you're telling me she is the kind of person who corrects, American accents, that's just, that's academically arrogant. That's academically arrogant to make fun of an accent or to denigrate someone's accent in English, any English accent. I don't care what it is. Yeah. And then next time, if you get in trouble with her, then you can ask her what's the proper pronunciation of the word schedule. Because if you look at the history of the word, the word actually comes from Greek, and there's the original pronunciation in Greek was more like an SK sound, ska, not sh. So they say schedule, and we say schedule, and guess who's right?
So I grew up watching some American movies, American music, so that's why I am used to American accent than the British one. I do understand when British people speak to me, but again, to me to have British accent in a class, it's kind of hard, because I think accent has something to do with the sociolinguistic, the way that we perceive,
absolutely,
the way that we pick up some accent.
There's a lot of things that are funny about a British accent. If you speak with a British accent, people immediately think you must be educated or smart. But an American accent, sometimes when you speak with an American accent, people think the exact opposite. They think that you must be uneducated because your accent is from the place where we don't force you to do things. So, anyway, arguing over who has the better language is like arguing, is rock music better than jazz music? It's a stupid argument to make. I love rock music. I love jazz music. You can't compare them. They're different. They're related. They are related. Rock and jazz are related, just like the British accent and the American accent are related, but they're different. So I appreciate them differently, and there is absolutely no value or positive argument that you can make to justify why you would say that the British accent is better than the American accent. There is no academic argument to be made. So that tells me she's just old and stuck in her ways.
Yeah.
So
of course, yes, it's really old.
So you just gotta get through it, man. This is what we call a hoop to jump through. A hoop to jump through. Yeah, like when you go to the circus, dun 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 dun. They have the tigers and they jump through the hoops, right? That you hold up the hoop, right?
Yeah.
Right. So a hoop to jump through in life. In life, sometimes there are things that you just have to do. It's a hoop you have to jump through.
Like no matter what, yeah.
Yeah, you just have to get through it. Yeah, just get through that hoop. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, sir, like one statement from her dad, make the whole class silent. So we were in her class, and I think it was because of me. I think it was my mistake, and I said I used contraction like I'm gonna I want something like that, and then she stopped me there, and then don't use American in my class, and then she told me that all this language come from certain race in America. There is uneducated person, something like that, and the whole class,
Wow, that's really wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, but like I said, I'm willing to bet that my English is as good as her English, but I'm not going to argue with her about it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to waste my time.
If I check her educational background, he graduated from some university in the UK, so that's why I think
Yeah. Like I said, it's funny. There are a few British teachers who are friends of mine on Hello Talk, and we talk about this sometimes. There are some British people who they think that the British accent is the only accent, and American accent is so uncouth and so terrible and barbaric or whatever. It's just bad sounding. But again, it's a silly and stupid and aesthetic and childish argument to make. And if you know about the history of the English language, especially if you know about the history of the English language and the history of pronunciation, pronunciations have changed over time. Here is what I want you to do next time if you get in an argument with her. I want you to ask her about the word tea.
Tea.
Yeah, T-E-A-T. Tea is very British, right? Very, very British. When we think of tea, we think of British people, right? British people love to drink tea, right? But where does the word tea come from? The word tea, a long time ago, the word tea was actually pronounced tay. It was pronounced tay. And before that, it was pronounced chay. And before that, it was pronounced chai. And before that, it was pronounced cha.
Yeah.
The Chinese word for tea is cha. The Indian word for tea is chai. And then they turned it into che, and then it turned into tay, and then it turned into tea. And that happened. So the word tea, they're so British, it's a Chinese word. And the pronunciation of it has nothing to do with the original pronunciation. Tea should come from the word cha. So like I said, that's what I mean is when you know about the background of language and where language comes from and how it was developed, then you understand that these arguments are stupid and silly and egotistical. They're ego-based arguments. That's her personal preference. That's it. There is no academic argument that you can make about which language is better, which accent is better, which grammar is better. There is no academic argument. Yeah.
All right.
So, Yeah. Anyway, Song of the Beach says Indian chai goes with the second tone too. No, it doesn't go with the tone, but just to show you the similarity in the sound. Yeah, the original word was cha, and then the Indian word was chai, and then we had che, and then te, and then tea. That's the progression of the word tea.
Even in Indonesia, we say it as teh.
There you go. There you go. There you go. That's what I'm saying. Language and food are two things that have mutated and changed depending on how society has mutated and changed, right? So, like I said, these arguments are silly arguments to make if you know anything about the development of the society or language itself. So, yeah. Anyway, I just think you should understand that anybody who takes an argument of this language is better than that language, that is not a person who has a great deal of academic integrity.
All right.
She's just stuck in her old ways. She's stubborn. She's just stubborn. Yeah.
So that's why, even when I try to give, even when the student try to give, our statement, she never let us do it.
Yeah. She's not going to be there for very long. I don't want to say that in the wrong way. Like, I'm not wishing she dies. I don't want to wish her to die, but I just mean she's not going to be teaching that much longer. Eventually there'll be somebody else who will come in and probably will have a more modern way of looking at language. Probably.
And you know what? I said that I'm doing my homework, and this is her homework that I'm working right now. So yeah, like my brain start to what is the answer for it? You just need to put the, or you just leave it blank, or some of the paragraph that I'm reading right now. But again, I think I'm kind of thinking of the way she teaches and. Yeah, something like that, and then I think that's also ruined my focus right now.
Yeah, well, like I said, there are some teachers who forget that the scores that your students get are not only representations of their ability. The scores your students get is a representation of your ability as a teacher. And if you don't have any students in your class that are doing well, then there is a serious problem with your teaching. It's not about making it too hard or too easy. It should be learnable. It's not about too easy or too hard. It should just be learnable. If it's not learnable, then everybody will fail.
Learnable, yeah.
Yeah.
Can be learned, yeah.
Yeah, able to be learned. That's right. Yeah. So, anyway, but Anwar, don't worry about her. Your English is great, man. Your English is great. Your accent is great. That attitude is going to die out eventually. It's weird though, because you will never ever hear an American say that American accents are better than British accents. We would never say it. We don't care. we don't care. One way or the other, we don't care. So you'll never hear an American make that argument that the American accent is better than the British accent. We just don't care. But there are about 25% of Brits who they do seem to be kind of arrogantly proud of their accent, and they have this egotistical connection to it that makes them defend it in non-rational ways. irrational ways. Yeah.
So one question before I go, sir. What is the different pronunciation? How do I distinguish between the garage and garages? So when American says these two words, I think it's kind of similar, like in my ears.
The word garage and garages.
Yeah.
Well.
Garage. garage in your heart, like something you hold. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So garage has the g sound before it. Grudge has no g. There's just grudge. You're right. They're similar, but one is garage and the other one is grudge. Right?
Garage and grudge.
Garage, 2 syllables. But the second one is 1 syllable. Grudge.
Grudge and garage.
Try to make it a little bit more separate. So do the first one as garage, 2 syllables. Garage.
Garage.
That's
garage.
very good.
Yeah.
Then the other one is 1 syllable. Just throw it out of your mouth quickly. Grudge.
Grudge.
Yeah, I carry a grudge. I carry a grudge inside. I park my car in the garage. Yeah. And then the other difference is the word grudge is grudge, udge. Garage is garage. Garage. Okay? Yeah, so it's not It's bigger. Yeah. Remember when I told you about how important it is to make your mouth big? When you speak English, if you want to, yeah. The bigger you make your mouth, the more difference you can make between your vowel sounds. And when you have a more difference between your vowel sounds, then your pronunciation becomes more clear. So like I said, if my mouth is not open, then garage and grudge, they're pretty close. But if I say garage and grudge, garage and grudge, garage, there's a big open mouth. It's different.
And it's gonna be, it's gonna sound more clear, right?
Yeah.
When we open our mouth.
That's exactly right. Yeah, you'll be more clear. Yeah. And even your 91-year-old English teacher, she should agree with that because, for example, Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart is a British actor, famous British actor, and his voice is exquisite. It's beautiful. I love his voice, and he speaks like a traditional stage actor. His mouth opens a lot. He's very, very clear and boomy, and he enunciates a lot when he speaks. Yeah. Both he and who's the other guy? What's that guy's name? Oh, I always forgot. Ian McKellen. He's the actor who played Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings movies. Both of them, both of them are British actors, and they both have a very traditional British acting voice. And you know what, Anwar? Sometimes people come on my stream and they say, "Is his accent British?" And they only say that because clearly my accent is not British. My accent is definitely American. But they think it's British because I overpronounce everything. Because my mouth is so big, they have an association with that. They think that the clarity of my voice, because it's clear, they assume it must be, it's British because it's clear. But they're both clear because I'm opening my mouth. That's the only difference. You just have to be open. Yeah. Okay?
It's clear, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're doing fine, man. Just get through that class and you'll be done and then never have to think about it again. Yeah. But
so
don't worry too much.
In conclusion, so I'm just gonna get this maybe 75 again for this semester, yeah.
Man, sometimes there's an old English saying, "Dems de breaks." That just means that's the way it goes sometimes. Dems the breaks. I mean, sometimes that's the way life goes. Sometimes you just have to take the hard hit and move on. That's just how it goes. Yeah. But you're doing fine, man. Don't worry about that class. Just every time you go in there, just do what you need to do to get through that class. And when you walk out the door, just shake off that bad energy and move on. All right?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so for this semester, like I have 5 subjects for this semester, and the first one is you know, those teacher, those lecturer that very like has a stubborn, you know, energy. They don't listen to the student. I think we got like two of them, and yeah, so it's like I think like the last semester it's only her, but now we got also like
Another one?
Another one. So,
Yeah.
yeah, basically, you know, yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
said,
it's gonna be like hard for us in the class.
in school, it's another reason I like being a teacher outside of school and not in school. Because outside of school, I don't have to give tests ever to any of my students at all. But in school, teachers are required to give tests. And when they give tests, teachers think that the test can't be too easy. And they're right, it can't be too easy. You shouldn't make it too easy, but you also shouldn't make it too hard. It shouldn't be an insurmountable test. It shouldn't be a test that can't be accomplished. It should be something that you can do. And if the best score in the class is a 75, then her teaching is also a 75.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. You know, to most teachers, we figure this out. But not all teachers do. Not all teachers do.
Yeah.
So, all right, Anwar. Well, it was great to talk to you again, man. Keep up with it. Just get through the work. You'll be done in no time. And take everything she says with a big grain of salt. It's, you know, she may say it's important, but it doesn't. It's not really. It's not really. So don't worry too much.
Thank you very much for your advice, sir. Thank you very
welcome.
much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, my friend.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye-bye.
See you, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And Olesia, you said that we make fun of the British accent. Yeah, we do. We make fun of it. Yeah, but we don't make fun of it like we're saying ours is better. We just like the sound difference. Honest to God, I don't think there's any American elitism in the way when we, you know, hello, good day, chap. You know, top of the morning to you, you know, whatever. When we do that, I think we're poking fun, but I don't think that we're trying to say that their language is terrible or bad in some way. On the other hand, I think that when they make fun of our accent, I kind of think that is what they do. You know, I think that they are kind of punching down, as we say, punching down. Okay, did I miss any other comments? Let's see. Is it important to use connected speech while talking in English? I would say it sounds better. I wouldn't necessarily say it's vitally important, but it does sound a lot better. You can talk like this all the time and never have any words connect or any words be together, but it does sound a little bit weird. Right? Hello, Eugene Marie. Good to see you again. Yeah, which English are you studying? Right. What is English? It's a language. There's your answer. Were and weren't also are similar in speaking. Jessica, if you can't understand when somebody says were or weren't, then you should just ask them. You should just ask them. You should just say, excuse me, did you say were or weren't? Okay? And you're right, there are many, many British accents that are anything but clear. That's correct. Chowman, I usually do live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday around this time. Most Brits are proud of their own language, and sure, but pride, there's always a line where pride becomes arrogance or pride becomes ego. Right? So being proud is not a bad thing by itself. but pride can be taken too far, and then it just becomes stubborn arrogance. Yeah. You're struggling with the pronunciation in English. Well, it does take some practice. It does take some practice. And Monica, the same thing of were and weren't and can and can't. Listen to me, everybody. Can, can't, can, can't, can, can't. There should be a very strong t, 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 t at the end of can't, weren't. Okay? Were, weren't, can, can't. But it's very, very common that in speech, when we're speaking quickly, sometimes those sounds happen very quickly, and it's hard for you to hear them clearly. But this is not a problem of language. This is just a standard problem of sound. Okay? So don't worry if you can't understand people when they say can or can't or were or weren't. Do not worry. You just need to ask them what they said. That's the answer to that problem. If you're not sure if someone said can or can't or were or weren't, then ask them. Okay? How to pronounce words like shouldn't, mightn't, couldn't. Well, mightn't we don't use much, if ever. Couldn't we use, shouldn't we use. But in America, we very, 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 very rarely ever use the word mightn't. Nisho, there is no time limit, man. Language is a lifelong game. Learning a language is like learning a musical instrument. In the beginning, when you learn a musical instrument, you don't sound good. You sound bad. Okay? But the more you play, the better you sound. And you never stop learning a musical instrument. Even when you're 100 years old, you'll still be learning. Same thing with language. Okay? Yeah, that's right. Might not is what we almost always say. But mightn't is, it has been used before. It has been used. I believe it might be more common in British English, maybe. They might use mightn't more than we do. But might not is what we would generally say. Yeah. You were watching the Friends TV show and it confuses you. Why does Friends confuse you, Jessica? 他们说太快了吗? All right, let me see if somebody else wants to come on stage. Let's see, Jai. Jai's still waiting. Let's talk to Jai. Oh, I need more coffee, though. I don't know if there is more coffee. Hello, Jai.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
How are you? I'm good, sir.
Good. What can I do for you? How can I help you, Jai?
Sir, nothing. I just been watching your live stream and looking for the advices.
Oh, what happened, Jai? Did Jai run out of time already? Jai, what happened? Did you accidentally take yourself off stage or did you run out of time? Yeah, it might be his daily limit. That was unfortunate. Well, if you're looking for advice, everybody, go to my YouTube channel and you will find many, 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 many videos that you can watch where I answer questions about English all the time. All right? So go to my YouTube channel and you can follow that and watch that. Okay? Like I said, Chinese boy, 如果你用好特别的魔法，你可以看我的 YouTube videos. Okay? I give lots and lots of videos. 你可以啊，你可以啊，你需要用好特别的魔法，可是你可以啊。很多中国人他们常常看我的 videos， 我 YouTube， 所以你也可以啊，你也可以想一想。All right, let's try somebody else. Let's try somebody else. Sorry about that, Jai. I don't know if you're still here or not, but that sucks. How about Penny? Penny, do you want to come talk to me? Penny? No, Penny's afraid to come on stage. Okay, how about Hamid? Hello, Hamid.
Hello. Yes, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yes, I'm also good.
Good. Good. And you're in Bangladesh, right?
Yes, I'm from Bangladesh.
Good. Are things a little bit better now there? I remember a few weeks ago things were pretty bad. Are things a little bit better now?
Yes.
Okay.
Now present is
Good.
more better.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. So what can I do for you, Hamid? How can I help you?
Yes, first of all, I'm here today because I'm not good at English. So I want to improve myself in English skill. So that's why, and you can help me to improve my bit American English accent. It's a very problem. And when American people talk with so quickly, I can understand this accent. That's why it's a very need to me actually.
Okay.
To
Okay, but you can understand
help
you
me
can
and
understand me when I speak, right?
yes.
Okay, so if you can understand me, then you can understand. That means that sometimes when you're listening to people, you're listening to the wrong people. So,
Oh, yes,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, because sometimes your voice is like a musical instrument, right? And so, some people they play the piano and they're a master, they're a genius, and they play the piano beautifully. Some people, when they play the piano, it sounds like they're just banging on the piano, right? So,
Very fast.
right, yeah.
Right.
So you have to think about your listening like that. Don't listen to just anyone. Listen to people who speak well, right? So if you can understand me, then that means that the problem is not just your listening. The problem is also that you're listening to somebody who's not speaking very well. Maybe they're speaking too fast. Maybe their accent is not very clear. Maybe they use a lot of slang language or local language, right? So
Right.
when you're learning a new language, you can't understand everyone in the beginning. You can't. You can
But
understand
I-
the people who speak well. Okay?
Right. But I understand you properly. No problem. Actually, me.
Okay. So
And,
then you need to
but
find
you,
more people like me. You need to find more people that when you hear them, you say, "Oh,
But-
I understand him."
Yes, you're correct. But it's very rare to find like you.
It is.
Actually.
You're right. It is. It is rare. The reason why it's rare, Hamid, is because language is something that we don't really think about much, right?
Right.
When you speak Bangladeshi, you don't really think about your pronunciation or your vocabulary. You just speak, right? So that's the way Americans are too. Most Americans, when they speak, they're not thinking about their pronunciation. They're not thinking about their clarity or their speed. They just speak. Okay,
Right.
you understand me because I do think about my clarity. I do think about my pronunciation. I do think about my speed. I do think about my vocabulary. I consider all that. It's my job. I'm a teacher. It's my job is to speak
Yes.
well. Yeah,
Yes, I know you're
Yeah.
a teacher, English teacher.
Yeah.
And your accent is so very nice, and I understood very clearly, and
Good.
And it's very nice actually.
Good. I'm glad. So then you should go to my YouTube channel and you can follow my YouTube videos. And I have many videos that I answer questions from people, and you can find lots of tips for learning English, and you can practice your English listening.
Yes, of course. I yes, of course. I'm trying to and enter your YouTube channel and improve myself. Actually,
Yeah.
it's very helpful, I think.
Good.
For me.
Yeah. So again, when you're practicing listening, everybody, you need to try to find a few people that you can try to focus on, people who speak really
Right.
well, and use them as your models. And again, Hamid, I like to teach people, it's just like when you learn a musical instrument. If you learn to play the drums,
yes.
right? When I'm a drummer, when I teach,
Oh, you're also a musician.
yeah, I'm a drummer. See the drums right behind me?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's very nice.
Yeah. And so when you play the drums, if I teach my students, I don't teach my students to listen to everybody in the world who plays the drums. I tell my students
very nice
that
job.
you should listen to this guy because he's a master, and you should listen to this guy because she's a master, and you should listen to this guy because he's a master. So I tell them to listen to the best. Listen to the best
Yes.
and use the best as your model. Right? Don't listen to somebody who's down here who doesn't speak very well. No, listen to people up here who speak really well. Okay?
Yes, but do you understand my?
I do. I
accent?
understand. I understand you just fine. You can improve your accent a little bit, but I don't think your
Okay.
accent is that bad. I don't think your accent is that bad. I think most people should be able to understand you. So keep working on it. Keep working on it. But
Of course, you should be.
yeah, the secret of an American accent is a clear English accent. You have to open your mouth a lot. You see how big my mouth is when I speak? That's the secret, is because my mouth is big, all of my words are clear.
Yes, and another thing is your mother tongue is English. That's why it's no problem.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Right. But the secret, though, is I speak Chinese also. And when I speak Chinese, Chinese language, when they speak, their mouth is small. It's a small mouth.
What? Okay.
So when I speak Chinese, I have to make my mouth small, right?
Small, right?
But
Yes.
when I speak English, I make my mouth big, and that's why it's more clear.
Big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Do you know Bangla?
I
Bangla
don't
language?
know any Bangla. Why don't you teach me how do I say hello in Bangladeshi? Bangla.
Oh,
How do I say hello?
hello, that means hi. মানে আপনি কেমন আছেন?
Oh, too fast. Can you say it again?
Hello is a common. It's also used Bangladesh, so that's no special meaning. That's why, how are you? That is, that means আপনি কেমন আছেন?
Apni kamen aten.
আছেন, right?
Okay.
আপনি কেমন আছেন?
Apli
Yes, you're very
kamen
correct.
aten. Apli kamen aten. Okay.
Yes, you're very correct. Yes.
All right. That means how
That's
are
very
you?
nice.
That means how are you?
How are you? হ্যাঁ।
Okay. All right. Apli
আপনি
kamen aten.
কেমন আছেন?
Apli kamen aten. All right. All right. Okay. And I'll work on that. I'll work on that. Thank you. Yeah.
And first of all, we sometimes proposed anyone, right? I love you. That means আমি তোমাকে ভালোবাসি.
Oh, and
It's
look,
Bangla accent.
that's great. And Jihan wrote it for me here. Let's see. Apni
Yes,
kaman
yes,
achin.
Jihan.
Apni kaman achin. All right. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. Thank you for teaching me that. I appreciate that, Hamid.
Right. And another words is, what is your name? That means, আপনার নাম কি?
Apna
Or
naam
তোমার
ki.
নাম কি? Yes, yes.
Apna naam ki. Okay, apna naam ki. All right. All right,
Yes,
that's
you
a good
already
one.
got it.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Hamid, keep working on your English. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. So don't worry too much. Just keep working on it, okay?
And I don't know what I get it or not actually, but I have to try more
Yeah.
and more practice.
Of
maybe.
course. Yeah, of course. Language is never ending. Learning a language is not something you finish. It's just like learning a musical instrument. You're never finished. You always want to be better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And,
So keep working on it.
Yes, and you tell me when I talk with American people, but I see that some American guys are not interested to teach anyone their language.
Well,
So
sure.
I think you are very friendly and you're very helpful to your learn your language, and so I'm very glad today because I find you to learn English actually. So
Well, you're welcome.
It's my pleasure actually.
Yeah, most people are not teachers. Most regular people are not
Right.
teachers, but I'm a teacher. That's my job. That's what I do is teach, and that's what I take seriously. So of course I try to help people. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So,
Is you professional teacher?
yeah,
Oh,
for 30
yeah,
years.
in university or college or not? School?
I have taught in kindergarten, elementary school, junior high school, and then many private institutions. Private, like,
Oh, very nice.
yeah, English schools. Yeah.
Okay. And I think many people helped a lot from you actually. Around the
I do
world,
my
not
best.
your country.
I do my best. I have almost 75,000 followers now. 75,000. So I try to help as many people as I can.
Oh, okay. That's very good job.
Yeah, well, thank you, Hamid, for coming on my stage, and good luck to you. Keep working on your pronunciation, and come back and see me again sometime, okay?
Of course. Thank you.
All right.
You also actually, and I want to invite my country to visit here. If
Okay.
have any.
If I ever can, I will. I would love to. I would love to sometime. Thank you very much, Hamid. I appreciate the invitation.
Yes. Thank you very much.
All
For give some time.
Take care, my friend. I'll see you
Thank
next
you.
time. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Okay, and that was nice. Let me go back. I saw a comment I want to comment on. Elsa, where's Elsa's comment? Some people in Hello Talk said, don't speak English. Your English is so bad. Elsa, don't take advice from just anyone. Take advice from people who matter. And so Mo said, ignore those fools. I completely agree with Mo. Okay? Elsa, there are many people on Hello Talk who use Hello Talk, and they're not teachers. They don't know anything. The majority of them don't. So if you want help, it's important to know where to get help, right? You can't get help anywhere. You have to get help in the right place, okay? So come here and ignore those fools, like Mo said, okay? And yes, try to join a better community, not that one. I agree. Yeah. Rithwick says, how to learn Gen Z words and use them in your daily conversation while emphasizing something. Rithwick, why? Why do you want to learn Gen Z words? Why? What's the point? It always fascinates me when people focus on slang. You know, like slang is supposed to be what makes your language really good. No, it doesn't. No. I don't teach slang, Rithwick. I really don't. I very rarely teach slang. I teach phrasal verbs. I teach idioms. I teach occasional colloquial language, but I don't teach slang. And thank you, Alessia. Yeah, he does want to sound younger, but to me that's like wanting to sound dumb. Yeah, there you go. I want to sound smarter so I don't learn Gen Z words. That's exactly right. That's kind of what I do too. Yeah. What is slang? Slang means local informal language that's not it's too casual to be used in any formal environments. Yeah. Here is my YouTube channel right here. You can also find my website right here. If you want private lessons, you can go there. There are my links. You can find me right there. And thank you, Neji. Okay, I think I might have time to help one more person. Titik wants to come up. Hello, Titik. Hello, hello, Titik. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
I'm good. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Titi.
Titik. Okay. All right. Okay.
Titi.
Good. And what can I do for you? You're in Indonesia, right? Are you in Jakarta?
No, I'm from East Java.
East Java. Okay. All right. And how can I help you today?
I have a problem to teach some kids.
Okay, so you're a teacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm tutoring kids for elementary schools.
Okay, for elementary school.
For
okay.
all subjects.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah, for all subjects.
So what's the problem?
I have problem in English. This kid, I cannot follow his what to say. This kid is special, you know, like he very hyperactive. I cannot control him to follow my content.
That's hard. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
And this is when you're teaching a group? When you're teaching a group?
No, just one.
Just
kid,
one-on-one.
private.
One-on-one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's different. Okay, so if you're teaching him one-on-one, you need to find some kind of material that will keep his interest. So I'm going to help you with that right now. There's a website that I use with my students that I think might be really good for you. Go to this website and take a look. Let me show it to you first. Let me share my screen and you can take a look at my website here that I use. Here it is. So I use this website with many of my private students. It's called GamesToLearnEnglish.com. Games to Learn English. And they have lots and lots and lots and lots of games all about learning English, and they're fun games. So look at this. We'll do vocabulary. Okay. So first you have vocabulary, and first you have to review, right? So you click review, and now you have to choose which group of words you want to learn. So do you want to do animals or jobs or sports, right? And you can see those are the words they have. So let's do food. Let's just try one. Okay. So look, here's chicken, right? And right here you can click on this and
chicken.
chicken, chicken. You can hear it, right?
Oh.
And then you can click on this and it will take away the word so that they have to tell you what it means. Oh, what is that? Oh, it's chicken, right? So, what is this? Hamburger, right? Hamburger. Hamburger.
Yeah.
Right? So, chocolate, right? Noodles, baguette, right? So first you can review. First you review with them, and then you go back and you play the game. Start. And we just did food. So let's do this one. Play. Now watch.
Oranges.
Look. Oranges. 1, 2, or 3. 1.
Baguette.
Baguette. 1, 2, or 3. 1. Peppers. And look, there's a clock here. The clock will make your student want to go fast. They'll want to pay attention because you'll say, oh, you're too late. You're too slow. Look, the clock ran out, right?
Yeah,
So this is a great website to try to get kids like that to be a bit more interested. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's very helpful.
yeah, so if you're using a computer, then you can use this, and you can help it. You can really do a lot. They have ones with grammar. Like, look at this one here. Let's try this. So with this, you have to make simple sentences. So I like pizza. He likes candy. I like oranges. See? It's a fun game for them to play, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's very fun.
There are so many of these games here that I think that this might help your student like that. Okay?
Yeah.
When I was a boy, I was like that. I was like, what? Huh? What? Everywhere is like, you know, I was too distractible. So when you're teaching English, you have to make it interesting. When you're teaching anything, it doesn't matter what you're teaching, you have to try to find ways to make it interesting, right? Games are a really great way to try to make learning interesting, right?
Yeah, right.
So, gamesToLearnEnglish.com, that's the website that I just showed you. And I want you to send me a private message. Send me a private message, and maybe I might have a book or two that you can have that will help you.
Oh,
Okay?
thank you. Thank you so much.
No
Thank you
problem.
so
Just
much.
send me a private message, and I'll see if I can find something for you, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're
it's
welcome.
Very helpful. And you know, one advice is that I got from you recently to talk with big mouth.
That's right.
Well,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah,
It's very important.
It's really funny how it makes a big difference. Yeah, when you use a big mouth, then your language can be much more clear. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Titik. So I'm going to let you go, but it was great to meet you and great to talk to you, and good luck with your students. And I hope that website helps you. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't
okay,
forget
thank
to
you
send
so
me a
much.
message. Don't forget to send me a message, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. GamesToLearnEnglish.com, everybody. GamesToLearnEnglish.com. Yeah, it is a great website for anybody. It's a great website for anybody learning. They've got phrasal verbs and adverbs and adjectives and body parts and time and daily routines and vocabulary and present tense, past tense, future tense, all kinds of things about numbers and conditionals and lots of stuff. Prepositions, everything. So it's a really good website for practicing your English and keeping it fun. Okay? All right. GamesToLearnEnglish.com. GamesToLearnEnglish.com. Jihan says, they think they're so cool when they use slang, but maybe this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, even when they use words in front of the seniors. Yeah, Jihan, language is funny because language part of language is about being social, right? Language is used to communicate with people. And language usually is used to connect people together, right? If I can speak language you understand, then we can make a connection. But slang language is sometimes used to make people feel like they're not a part of things, right? If you use certain words and I don't know those words, now I feel like I'm not included. I'm not part of your group. And that's kind of what slang is. Slang is language used usually by younger people to try to make older people or other people feel excluded. It's kind of a funny, silly thing. Yeah. And it's ego. It's just ego. You know, they want to be cool. But here's the paradox of coolness. The paradox of coolness is if you try to be cool, then you're not cool. As soon as you try to be cool, you're not cool. Being cool is about doing whatever you do, being whoever you are, and not caring what anybody else thinks. That's what being cool really is. Being cool is not trying to make people think you're cool. That's the opposite of being cool. Yeah. Can you use this if you're B1 English? Yeah, you can, Jeffrey. Yeah. There will be some things that'll be too easy for you and some things that'll be harder for you. Yeah. It's still a good level. It's not for advanced English, but it's good for beginners to intermediate. Yeah. Beginner to intermediate level. All right. Let's see. I have time to talk with one more person. Let's talk to Allie. Allie, you want to come talk to me? Allie, are you there, Allie? One more time, Allie, are you there? Would you like to come talk to me? All right. Well, I guess Allie's not there. Let's try Layla. I think maybe I talked to Layla before. I'm not sure. Layla, do you want to come talk to me? There's Layla. Hello, Layla. How are you?
Hey, Mark. How are you?
I'm not bad. I'm getting a little bit hungry. I'm almost ready for lunch, but I'm not bad. And you're in Azerbaijan.
Oh, thank you.
Are you in Baku or where are you?
I'm near. I'm close to Baku.
Okay. What can I do for you today? How can I help you?
Mark, I would like you to share some resources for improving speaking skills.
Share some resources for improving speaking skills. Well, tell me what's your problem with speaking.
I don't have any problems, but my students have. That's why I would like to encourage them to speak more.
Okay.
They become shy while speaking.
Okay. All right. Well, let me see if I can give you the right advice then. Okay. So,
maybe you can give some advice.
Yeah, there are 3 things I think you should consider. So one is, how can you practice speaking more? Okay, and so I have 4 tips about how you can practice speaking more. The second piece of advice, I'm going to give it all to you at once, but let me just explain the first 3 ideas, which is, one idea is that that if you want to speak well, then you need to speak more. right? So speaking practice, I have 4 different ways to practice speaking. So I'm going to tell you those in a minute. Then the other thing that's very important for you to understand is that if you want your students to be comfortable when they use a language, they need to be able to think using that language. Right?
Okay.
So a really important part of language is thinking. Thinking is a really important part. If you can't think well, then you're nervous when you speak and you're uncomfortable and you're worried. Okay, so that's the second thing. And the third thing, well, let me get through my 3 things first real quick. The third thing I would say is that if your students are shy or nervous, that's also normal because language is a performance. When you have to speak, it's like giving a performance. You're performing in front of people, and it makes you nervous because people are looking at you, right? And when you learn to be a performer, all performers are nervous when they first start performing. The first time I got on stage to play music, I was really nervous, but now I've been on stage thousands of times. Now I'm very comfortable in front of people performing. So let's break those three pieces of advice down. So piece of advice 1 is you need more speaking practice, and I have 4 ways to help you practice speaking. Part 2 is the secret of all language is that language starts in your mind. Language begins in your mind. And if you cannot think well using that language, if you're not comfortable with the language here, then you won't be comfortable here when you speak. Okay? And then finally, the last part is that all people are nervous when they first speak any language because it's a performance. Mm-hmm. You're just worried. But you have to do it more. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get. That's just a fact. Okay? So if you're uncomfortable, you just haven't done it enough. Okay? So you had a question. What's your question?
You said that if you are not able to think in English, you can't speak. Yes.
Well, I would say you can't speak comfortably. You can't speak comfortably.
Yeah, got you. If I can encourage him doing lots of listening, can it help?
Well, yes and no. Of course, it does help. But Layla, there are 8 different parts of language that I consider, okay? And they all help each other, right? So when you learn one, they help the other. The 8 different parts of language are reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Okay. Those are the 4 that we usually think about. The 5th one that I mentioned is thinking. So reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking. Then we have grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Those are the 8 areas that I work on with language with my students. Okay? Reading, writing, listening, speaking, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and what did I skip? Reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation. Sorry. So those are the 8 different areas, and they all help each other. So, of course, if you practice listening, that helps your reading, and it helps your writing, and it helps your speaking. If you practice speaking, that helps your writing, and your reading, and your listening. If you practice reading, it helps your speaking, and your listening, and your writing. Okay, they all work together. So you can't just focus on one or the other. You have to do them together. All right? Let's go back to talking about speaking, my 4 ways to practice speaking more, okay?
Go on, please.
The first one is if you can find a native speaker, then you should try to speak to native speakers as much as possible, right? So some people, they live in a big city, right? And maybe there's some foreigners who live there and they speak English natively. So you should try to find them and talk to them. You know, that's not always easy to do, and sometimes it's a little scary to talk to a stranger. But if you can find native speakers to talk with, then you should. And there are 2 ways to do that. You can try to find them in your real life, in the real world, in your city, or you can go on HelloTalk, and you can find people on HelloTalk to practice with, right? Now, when you go on HelloTalk, I know your students can't because they're too young, but I'm trying to give advice for everybody here. And for the people who are on Hello Talk, if you are having trouble finding people to practice with, it's usually your fault. And the reason why I say that is because most people on Hello Talk, they don't know how to introduce themselves to people. And because they don't know how to introduce themselves, nobody replies. So most of the time on Hello Talk, people just wave to me. That's it. They just send me a wave, or they say, or they just say hi, and that's all, right? They don't introduce themselves. They say, my name is Layla. I'm from Baku, Azerbaijan, and I'm an English teacher, and I love to cook and eat and watch movies. They don't say anything. They say, hi, will you teach me English? That's it. That doesn't work. So if you're on Hello Talk and you're looking for help, learn how to make a proper introduction. Introduce yourself to people. That's number one, okay? Now, if you can't find a native speaker, on Hello Talk, or you can't find a native speaker in your real life, in your city, then you should try to find a non-native speaker. Other people like you, Layla, your friends, your family, anybody who speaks English. Practice with them. Maybe it's not as good as practicing with a native speaker, but it's still good, right? It's still practice. So you should do it. All right. So that's step 2, is try to find non-native speakers. Make a group of people. Maybe every Friday, get together and have some lunch or tea with a group of people who all want to practice their English together, and do that. Have English lunch every Friday. Okay. With your friends.
Yeah.
All right. Step 3. So step 1, native speaker. Step 2, non-native speaker. Step 3 is, if you can't find someone to speak with, then find someone who you can teach, and teach them anything you know, right? And you can do this with your students. I think this one is very fun to do with my students. I tell my students to go home and teach their relatives what I taught them. That makes them feel like they have some power, because they know something that the adults don't. So you can go and say, teach your mom how to say, nice to meet you. Teach your brother how to say delicious. Teach your neighbor how to say, thank you very much. Whatever. Anything. Just teach. Teaching is one of the best kinds of practice that you can do. The more you teach, the more you learn. Okay, so teaching is great.
Sure.
And then finally, the 4th method is, if you can't find a native speaker to practice with, you can't find a non-native speaker to practice with, and you can't find someone you can teach, then just talk to yourself. Talk to the TV. When you watch TV, just whatever you're thinking, say it in English, right? Talk to your dog. I used to speak to my dog in Chinese.
Good method.
Yeah, right. And he would understand sometimes. When it was lunchtime, I would. He knew. He knew those words. So the point is, I gave you 4 different ways to practice speaking, so that you never have an excuse. You can't say, well, I can't practice speaking because I can never find anybody. I gave you 4 ways. Find a native speaker, find a non-native speaker, find someone you can teach, or talk to yourself. If you do those 4 ways, then you will practice enough. Okay, so that was part 1 of my advice, was to practice more speaking. Part 2 of my advice is that you need to understand, and this is the most important advice I give. It's the reason I have 75,000 followers, is because I tell everybody that language starts in the mind. And so thinking about language should be your most important concern. 50% of your practice should be thinking in English. 50%. So if you want to practice reading for an hour a day, that's great, good. But you still need to practice thinking for an hour a day too. If you want to practice writing for an hour a day, that's good. But you need to practice thinking for an hour every day too. Okay? And thinking...
Yes, we should pay attention to all 4 skills.
That's right.
At a time.
That's right, yeah. And thinking is like a language practice room. So you can practice your words anytime you want, and there's no right or wrong. You just try. You just try, right? So when you walk down the street, try to think in English. And now many people are confused by this. They don't understand what I mean when I say think in English. The reason why you're confused is because you think that's impossible. How can you just change languages? You're right. You can't. You can't have every thought in another language yet, but you can have simple thoughts in English. So I call it baby English. The first thing you should learn how to do is think in baby English, which means you think, what do babies think about?
Simple sentences.
Yeah, they think about how they feel, what they want, what they need, what they like, what they don't like. I feel happy, I feel tired, I feel sad, I feel hungry. That's not hard to do, but you don't do it. You think all those things in your native language, right? So you have to change. Start thinking I'm hungry in English. Start thinking I'm tired in English, right? Start thinking I like chocolate, but I don't like broccoli, whatever, in English. I like this, but I don't like that. That's easy. That's not hard. I want this. I don't want that. I need this. I don't need that. Those are easy things to think. Anybody can do that right now, right? But you don't. So you should, right? That's step 1 is baby English. Step 2 is elementary level English. Elementary students ask a lot of questions, don't they? Right?
Yeah.
Who's this? What's that? When? Where do we go? Why? Right? So that's the secret of step 2 is when you walk out the door tomorrow, look around your world and start asking questions. What's that called? When does that store open? Where is that thing? Why do we do this? In English, try to make a question and try to make an answer. That's elementary level English. Okay? That's step 2. Step 3 is what I call high school level English or identity English, which means when you're in high school, you should be able to describe yourself very well. You should be able to talk about your family and your friends and your job and your hobbies and your interests and your goals and your dreams and your routine. Again, these are not really difficult topics. These are pretty common topics. So that's step 3 is learning how to describe what you like in the world and, you know, who is your world? What is your world, right? Finally, step 4 is adult level English, college level English. That's when we're talking about what you believe in, meaning what are like economics, religion, philosophy, politics, history, science.
Talking on different topics.
Yeah, and those are difficult topics. Those are pretty difficult. Yeah. That's talking about what you believe in, right? So step 1, baby English. Step 2, elementary level English. Ask a lot of questions. Step 3, high school identity English, where you're talking about who you are and what you feel and what you want, right? So that stuff is baby English. You don't need any grammar. You don't need any grammar. Babies don't know grammar. You don't need any, right? So don't worry about your grammar. Elementary English, you need a little bit of grammar, but it's just basic question and answer grammar. Not too difficult. Step 3, you need a little bit more grammar, right? A little bit more to talk about your family. You know, where's my father from? Where's my mother from? What do they do? Are they retired? What do they like to do for fun? You know, can you think about those things in English? If you can think about your family in English, then you can talk about your family in English.
Okay.
Okay? And then finally, like I said, step 4 is one I wouldn't even worry about for right now. That's way down the road. You should be worried about step 1, step 2, and step 3. If you can get to step 3 in any language, you're doing really well. Step 3 is all we use most of the time. We just want to describe our world. We want to describe who we are and what we do. We're not always talking about really deep things like our beliefs or philosophy. We're usually talking about, you know, oh, that movie was great. I really liked it. What do you think? You know, like simple things, right? So, Layla, thinking is the secret of language. Thinking is like a platform, okay? And reading, writing, listening, and speaking, they stand on that platform. So if your thinking is weak, then your reading and your writing and your listening and your speaking will be weak. Okay?
Yeah, I think that getting to this level, you should take time for English and not don't make excuses. Yes?
Well,
Am I
yes, but Layla, that's the other reason why this trick really works really well, because I'm not asking you to actually study more. I'm not telling you to study more at all. I'm telling you.
Maybe being
Yeah, all I want you to do is just use your English mind when you do everything that you normally do. So if you want to watch TV, great, watch TV. But can you think about it in English a little bit? Can you watch TV and say, oh, I like that guy? He's funny. Can you think that in English? Just simple things like that when you're watching TV. Or when you go to the store, the grocery store, okay? I do this in Chinese. When I'm in the grocery store, I think in Chinese. I think, what do I need to buy in Chinese? I go and I find the thing, I think, oh, that's too expensive, or that's too cheap, or that's sold out. In Chinese, I'm thinking all these things. But I'm just at the grocery store. I'm not doing homework. I'm just living my life. I'm cooking dinner in Chinese. I'm at the grocery store in Chinese. I'm watching TV in Chinese. So you do the same thing in English. I'm not asking you to do more work. I'm just asking you, can you watch TV and occasionally try to have an English thought? You know? So yeah, you know, the more you dedicate yourself this way, the faster your language will improve. I guarantee that. But I really am not, I'm not telling my students they need to study more. I'm just telling them they need to use their English mind more. That's different. That's not the same thing. And actually,
maybe being able to imagine themselves in different situations, like you said.
That's right. Yeah. The imagination is a powerful, powerful thing. You need to use it. Yeah. So, and then, like I said, the last step is just that Layla, almost everybody in the world is actually scared to get on stage. Almost everybody is scared to get on stage and perform. They're worried. They're nervous. They're being judged. People are looking at them, right? That's normal. Layla, there's a famous Persian poet. His name is Rumi. I think in Persian, he's Molana, right? Yeah, okay. So he has a quote that I love. He says, all of your anxiety comes from seeking harmony. Seek disharmony and you will find peace. And I love this quote because what it means, what it means is you cannot become comfortable without becoming uncomfortable first. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable. And the more you're uncomfortable, then eventually you start to become more comfortable, right?
Yeah.
So that's the secret of language, is it's a performance. And that means that everybody's going to be scared and nervous in the beginning. And the more you do it, the more confidence you get. Okay?
Definitely.
So those are the three ways that I would tell you to work with your students more, is get your students to try to use their English mind more. You know, get them to understand. They probably don't understand this yet. Most people don't understand that language has a physical part. The physical part of language is reading, writing, listening, and speaking. But language also has a mental part. That's thinking. Okay? That's thinking. And it's super important. Yeah. And the last thing I would say, Layla, is to get students to learn, you have to know what their motivations are. Right? So some students, I think most students, when they're in school, whatever they're learning, they don't know why they're learning it.
Yeah, they don't know.
They don't understand, why is this math going to be useful to me? Why is this vocabulary going to be useful to me? Why do I need English? How is that going to help me in my life at all? Right? They don't know how it's going to be useful to them. So you have to try to figure out ways to communicate that to them. You know, maybe they play video games. Well, guess what language is the number one language in the world to use on video games? English. And if you want,
English, yes.
if you want to travel, what's the number one language in the world to use when you're traveling? English.
English.
Yeah. If you want to go to school or university or leave the country, maybe you want to study in the United States for a while, guess what language you need? English. If you want a better job, the number one language to learn if you want to get a higher salary, English.
Sure.
So that's what I often do is I have to ask my students, what do you want in life? What do you do? Why? What do you like? And then I try to find a way to connect English to what they like.
Good approach.
Yeah, you know, what I say is anybody can climb a mountain, Layla. Anybody can climb a mountain. But anybody will climb that mountain better if you give them a good reason.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what students are like. If you don't have a good reason, then you don't try. But if students have a good reason for learning, if they understand why they're learning, then they
Yeah, they
will
should
learn.
have specific goals.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But most
And
students,
steps to it.
they're too young. They just haven't figured that out yet. It takes a while. Layla, you also need to remember as a teacher that students are kind of like flowers. Okay? And some flowers bloom in March and some flowers bloom in September.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, you can't be mad at the student because they
takes
didn't
time,
bloom
yes.
yet.
It takes time.
That's
Yeah,
right.
They are
Yeah,
different.
you have to wait, and sometimes that one student who's really difficult and really makes your job hard that one year, next year they might be your best student.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, but keep working on it, and you'll be fine. All right.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Mark.
remember,
Thank you
Layla,
for your-
remember that if you want your students to be excited about learning, then you have to be excited about teaching.
Yeah, I'm always excited.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Awesome. All
And
right.
I was concerned about their speaking. That's why I joined your voice room and tried to get some advice from native speaker and teacher and drummer.
Yeah. So just keep working on it, man. And Layla, you know, English English is a global language, and we live in a global world now. Look at, you know, here I am in the United States, and I'm talking to you in Baku, right? So, like I said, the world has changed, and just imagine how much more global it's going to be in 10 years for them, right? So, English is definitely. It's hard for me to imagine somebody who doesn't think English could be useful to them now. You just have to find a way to make them understand that it is useful to almost anybody now. Doesn't matter what you're interested in. Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
You're welcome, Layla. Good luck to you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure to talk to you. And come back and see me again, okay?
Of course. Bye.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's see. Guys, it is 12 o'clock, just about 12 o'clock, and I think that this is probably a pretty good time for me to wrap things up, to end here. Before I go, let me give you my links. If you want to follow me here. Go right here. You can follow me. This is my website. If you want private lessons, you can go to my private lessons website and sign up. I do teach private lessons. If you think I'm helpful here, you should see how helpful I can be one-on-one. I can definitely help you, but you do have to pay me. And then finally, my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel. Saeed, you're a little bit late, Saeed. I'm tired. My voice is a little dry. I need a break. But if you go to my YouTube channel, you can find lots and lots and lots of tips there. Okay? Go to my YouTube channel. Tell you my program of teaching, Anwar, I can't tell you my program of teaching. That would take me all day. Every student is different. I help you with your reading, your writing, your listening, your speaking, your thinking, your grammar, your vocabulary, and your pronunciation. Every student that I teach is different. So every student that I teach differently. Okay? I customize my teaching and for your learning. All right? Okay, guys. That's going to be it for me. Follow me. Come back and see me again. I'll be back here on Friday. And this weekend, I'll be doing a special live stream. This weekend, Clay and I this weekend are going to a very special event that you guys should come watch. It'll be a lot of fun. So, thank you, Layla. Thank you, James. Thank you, Falcon and John and DK. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jasmine. Yes, another day, Saeed. Thank you, Tashi. My YouTube link is right here. Again, there's my YouTube right there. Okay, guys, I got to go. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening, wherever you live in the world. And I will see you guys next time. Keep working on it. All right? Don't give up. Bye-bye.